here's meteorologist Pete Mangione with your live Pinpoint Doppler 12 Futurecast.
Good morning, everybody. We have a lot of reports coming in now. Most locations already have 1 to 2 inches of snow on the ground. The transition to sleet and even plain old rain has occurred at the coast and continues to move to the north. In fact, as we take a look at things at the hurricane barrier, earlier this morning we had the big fat flakes. Right now the flakes are very fine. In fact, this is a sign that we're either going over to some rain or sleets or pellets. In fact, I just stepped outside the studio here in East Providence. We had a little snow falling, but you could kind of hear the pellets, and you could really notice that transition starting to happen. Now, we may wobble back and forth between the rain, snow, and sleet. Sometimes it's not a completely clean transition, but the overall trend will be to bring in the wet liquid precipitation, turn off the snow temporarily. I'll tell you why I said temporarily coming up in just a minute. So in the capital city, notice the water kind of falling off the lens, indicating that transition is happening here in Providence. 32 is your temperature. Winds are out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. I don't expect winds to be a huge deal with the storm. They'll be a little bit stronger out here towards Cape Cod and the islands. On live Pinpoint Doppler 12, notice we have the rain already pushing to places like Newport, Jamestown, Narragansett. Even in locations like Warwick up through Providence where you see the blue, this is basically our radar calculating what it thinks is happening. Doesn't necessarily mean we're plain old snow. In fact, in many of these locations we have changed over to the sleet or the rain. Up to the north and west of 295, likely still snowing, and you can see our Futurecast picks this up really well over the next half an hour. Still snowing in northern Rhode Island, but the sleet and rain continues to move in from the south. By late morning, pretty much everybody's hanging on to the sleet and rain, so the snow pushes to the north, but it may keep going here in central Massachusetts, even in extreme northwestern Rhode Island. So if you're heading to the north and west today, especially up towards the Mass Pike, Worcester County, use caution as we'll get more snow up there. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sleet and rain. So here's our big break in all of this. And then watch what happens at 4 o'clock. Snow starts to move back in, starting in northern Rhode Island first, perhaps in Bristol County, Massachusetts, those northern sections around the Attleboroughs. By 6 o'clock, it pushes pretty much for everybody where we have the light snow falling. And then by the time we get to 8 or 9 o'clock, snow pushes away. So we do get that one final burst, even down at the coast later on tonight. I'm thinking about an inch or two additional accumulation tonight. So you add that to what you have right now, and you end up with your grand totals for the storm. I'll put up those grand totals in just a second. 30 in Smithfield right now, so likely still some snow and some slick roads. 32 Providence, and we're just above freezing here at the coast where that transition is starting to occur. And you can see that rain snow line here on the satellite map. By the time we get to this afternoon, again, we're on the milder side of the storm before the cold side returns once again with one final burst of snow. Throughout the afternoon, temperatures rise to around 34 degrees in Providence, 35 Taunton, Smithfield, just barely above freezing. And as we head into the afternoon and evening, temperatures dip below freezing. So this is 10 o'clock when most of the snow is pushed away. But be mindful, there could be some black ice and slick roads as those temperatures dip just below the freezing mark and stay there for early tomorrow morning. By town, we break things down just to give you a few examples. 1 to 3 grand total in Narragansett, 2 to 4 in Providence, 4 to 6 in Chepachet. Keep in mind, this is by tonight, so we're adding up everything from this morning and tonight as well. And also keep in mind the totals that we've already seen this morning may be squashed down by some of this rain before that additional accumulation occurs tonight. Wind forecast, well, gusts to 50 miles an hour possible out towards Cape Cod, so some power outages possible there. And even into extreme northwestern Rhode Island, where we're going to see the heaviest of the snow, some power outages are possible just because some of the snow may be rather heavy and wet. The Eyewitness News threat tracker showing the high category in terms of threat tracking this morning because of some of that snow, but for the most part we'll change over to the moderate category this afternoon and tonight with that sleet rain mix, and then back over to snow. One last look at those grand totals, 2 to 4 inches up and down the I-95 corridor. Again, about 2 inches already on the ground right now. 4 to 6 to the north and west of 295. 6 to 9 possible in some of the higher hills of northwest Rhode Island into central Massachusetts. There is your 7-day Futurecast. Tomorrow, Brian, we get a break at 35. Potential of a little more snow on Monday and Tuesday. More details on that on our blog and also online.
And mentioning the blog, I was just looking through it. You just updated it.
I did.
It's very handy. It's in our app if you haven't checked it out. Complete timeline for today.
Absolutely, and thank you for noticing.
Of course, I always look, Pete.
Yes.
You're welcome. All right, your time now is 7:22. More coverage you can count on coming up on Eyewitness News this morning. A frightening attack under investigation now. A police dog escapes, then goes after a boy walking home from school. Plus, new details now on that massive